You're lying comfortably in your bed, and suddenly it hits you. The project you've been putting off for days is due tomorrow. Alright, it's time to get to work. You open your computer, but your hand reaches for your phone first. Maybe you'll watch a quick video. Or start a movie you like. After all, it's important to relax a little too, right? Actually, you might need to prepare dinner first. You've always enjoyed cooking, but when there's unfinished work hanging over your head, it's hard to truly enjoy anything. Then you glance at the clock. More time has passed. Forget it, you tell yourself. I'll wake up early and get it done tomorrow. And that's exactly how the procrastination cycle works. Honestly, most of us have fallen into it at some point in our life. But why? Why do we keep putting things off, even when we know it will hurt us in the long run? First, let's clear something up. Not every task you postpone is procrastination. Healthy time management requires knowing which tasks are urgent and which ones can wait. True procrastination is repeatedly delaying a task that you know you should do without a valid reason, even when you're fully aware that doing so may lead to negative consequences. Sounds irrational, doesn't it? But here's the interesting part. Procrastination is often not caused by laziness. Instead, it happens because your brain is trying to protect you, especially when it perceives a task as a threat. When you think about that project due tomorrow, your brain may interpret it as a genuine danger. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions and detecting threats, becomes activated. Adrenaline and stress hormones are released. As a result, the brain regions responsible for long-term thinking become less active. In other words, your rational mind takes a backseat while your emotional mind takes control. At that point, your brain typically chooses one of three responses: fight, flight, or freeze. And for most people, the response is usually flight. Instead of working on the task, they distract themselves with other activities. That might sound exaggerated. After all, there's no bear chasing you, just a deadline. But our brains don't always recognize the difference, especially when a task triggers feelings of fear, inadequacy, or anxiety about failure. Research supports this idea. Studies involving university students have shown that people are more likely to procrastinate on tasks they perceive as difficult or stressful. What's more, the longer you delay a task, the bigger it seems in your mind. The task itself hasn't changed, but it begins to feel much harder. In other words, sometimes it's not the task itself that stops us, it's our thoughts about the task. That's why some people are more prone to procrastination than others, particularly those who struggle with emotional regulation or have low self-confidence. Even individuals with strong time management skills can still procrastinate. There's another common misconception worth addressing. Procrastination is not the same thing as laziness. Laziness is generally associated with a lack of energy or motivation. People who procrastinate, on the other hand, are rarely doing nothing. In fact, they're often busy doing other things. They clean their rooms, they watch videos, they scroll through social media, they make new plans, but they don't start the task that actually needs to be done. And often, it's not because they don't care, it's because they care too much. Many chronic procrastinators share a common fear of failure. They worry that their work won't be good enough. That's why the first step is understanding the emotions the task creates. Breaking a task into smaller pieces can help. Writing down what's causing you stress can be useful. Exploring the deeper fears behind your avoidance can be an important step. Removing distractions from your environment can also make a significant difference. But perhaps the most important thing is this: show yourself a little more compassion. Instead of punishing yourself for struggling, try to understand why you're struggling. Forgive yourself and create a realistic plan for your next step, because the cycle of stress and procrastination can quietly pull all of us in. And the first step toward breaking that cycle may simply be learning to treat ourselves with a little more kindness.